The National Science Foundation says that an adult has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts every single day, and 80% of those are negative. Now, if those negative thoughts are damaging you, if they are holding you back from what you want to achieve, then let's get stuck in and change that fact. This simple move that I'm going to teach you today breaks down into 3 steps. The first step is to notice the thought that you are having. Notice that negative thought. The problem is a lot of us have gotten so used to the sound of that inner critic that we're not even aware of it going on anymore. It's like the hum of your refrigerator, right? It's not until it stops that you realize how noisy it actually was. So by tuning in to what's going on in your head, the things you're actually saying about yourself, to yourself, sometimes to other people, is the first step. And then start writing it down. Write down the thoughts. Write down those thoughts, whatever they are. We went through a list of them already. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. Maybe for you, negative self-talk is about labeling. Maybe you're calling yourself names, right? That childhood bully is now you. I'm such a loser. I can never do this. I'm not capable. And then we move on to the really powerful next step of this beautiful move, which is you start looking at evidence for and against that thought. Okay, so if this is the thought you're having, where's the evidence that that is true? And you may be able to come up with lots of evidence. You may be able to point to lots of different experiences that show you that actually that negative statement about yourself is absolutely true. But then you have to do the next bit, which is where's the evidence that it's not true? Now, this may be harder to come up with at first, but there's a part of our brain, it's a collection of neurons called the Reticular Activating System. And this little collection of neurons is responsible for filtering what we observe in the day and making us aware of what's important. And we can actually give commands to that Reticular Activation System, or the RAS. We can let it know what we want to be focusing on. If you've ever been looking to, for example, buy a dog and you're considering a Labrador, and suddenly everybody around you has Labradors, and you're suddenly seeing loads of Labradors, and you're like, why does everybody now have a Labrador when I've only just come up with the idea to get a Labrador? Or it might be a car. You're suddenly thinking about red cars, and now that's all you can see is it's just red car after red car after red car. This is actually, it's not that suddenly there are more Labradors in the world or suddenly there are more red cars in the world. It is your RAS going into action. We can't possibly be observing everything that is around us all the time. We don't have the capacity. Our brain power isn't able to process everything. So our RAS chooses what we want to focus on, chooses the information that we're actually going to be conscious of. So let's take the example, I never finish things. I'm so useless, I never finish things. Maybe that's a statement that you repeat to yourself. Okay, and I'm sure you can list off all the reasons why that statement has come into being. Didn't finish this project, I didn't finish this assignment, whatever it is for you. I didn't finish this relationship, whatever that means to you. But then look at the evidence against. Okay, well, what have I completed in this example? What have I seen through to the end? And once you start asking that question, come up with anything that immediately comes to mind. But by asking that question, your RAS is going to start getting to work. And so you'll go through the day and suddenly realize, oh, no, here's something that I finished. And you become aware of the evidence against that statement. And the more evidence you compile, the less you'll be inclined to hold on to that negative statement that you have been telling yourself. And if we can go through that with the big ones, the statements that repeat in our head when we talk to ourselves about ourselves, or even the statements that we speak out loud about ourselves to other people, when we go through this process, we begin to let go, because there's no longer sufficient evidence to hold onto it, because we've commanded from our RAS that we collect the alternative evidence. Now, this knowledge, understanding that we can use this process to get rid of negative self-talk means that we can allow that positivity to spread out through our life. And we can start affirming what we're doing and swapping out those negative statements for positive ones. And when we do that, then we start seeing it all around, because again, our RAS is looking for evidence, looking for proof, looking to justify those positive statements. So put your RAS to work and allow those negative statements to be something of the past, former beliefs that you had about yourself, and redefine who you are in this positive way.